Hello, friends. Today, when I stand tall on this stage, you may see someone on a wheelchair who is here to deliver a speech. But from where I am watching, I see group of people who are here to listen to my story, and I'm nothing but grateful to every event of my life which has got me to this platform. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is from my most encouraging trip beyond barriers, incredible India. I will talk to you more about this when I reach to that segment of my story. Before that, let's move ahead towards my life journey. This is my life graph. Sorry. Today, I would just like to share how I am feeling. You must be wondering, was I always on a wheelchair? No, I was just a carefree teenager like any one of y'all. But life had destined something else for me. At the age of 16, I was diagnosed with a tumor in the spine. And in the process of getting treatment done, I faced adversity. I had spine injury. Let me explain to you spine injury in a layman's language. If I want to snap my fingers, if I want to clap, if I want to sit, if I want to stand, each and every command is given by the brain to the body part. And this message is conveyed through the spine. My messenger, my spine, broke at T4, T5 level. That means just below, I lost my memory and sensory power. I'm not getting into technicalities of spine injury because there is a lot of information available on the internet. Let me take my journey forward, how I found my silver lining and how I felt that I should work towards changing of society and leave it a little better from where I found it. After my spine surgery and spine injury, when I reached home, realization struck me. How do I navigate these two floors which I have been running around for several times during the day, up and down? How do I manage this bigger obstacle that is there in my life? I had no clue. I was feeling sad, I was feeling upset, and I had no idea what all hurdles were waiting for me. I could not turn my side, I could not sit, I could not stand. And the worst part was, I had lost control over my bladder and bowel. The biggest shock to me came when I realized that I had to discontinue my education because my college was not accessible. And mind you, it was one of the renowned colleges of Mumbai. I felt that, okay, how do I move ahead? And every visitor who came to visit me gave me a piece of advice. Of course, they were concerned. So we tried all the different exercises. We tried we tried physio, we tried acupressure, we tried acupuncture, we tried massages, we tried mantra japs. Not only that, we did mannats. Life kept moving very slow at the pace of a snail. Not only that, I was getting frustrated, I was getting angry, I was getting depressed. But finally, my family and myself made peace with the situation. We accepted the situation. And they say, when you accept things, things start moving in the right direction. And I think that is what happened with me. I was introduced to Mr. Talera, who also had spine surgery. His was due to car accident. He guided me. He introduced me to the world of rehab. And this rehab changed my life. My life took a U-turn after I visited National Spine Injury Center, Stoke Mandeville in UK. After being 9 years at home, that 1 month of rehabilitation changed my life. I could do all my routine by myself, from morning brush till night brush. all by myself independently. My stay in UK was very comfortable. I could do each and every activity by myself. I could go to banks, I could go to hospitals, I could go to rehab centers, hotels, railway stations, all by myself. So I realized it is the infrastructure that makes you disabled. If there is a proper rehab, an appropriate wheelchair, and a proper infrastructure, you can have an independent life. After that, I when I was flying back from London to Mumbai, I dreamt and I made a promise to myself that now I am going to work towards making my city, my country, barrier free for persons with disability. Once I was back home, I was physically independent. Now was the time that I had to get financially independent. After searching for offices, premises which were accessible, I could not find much hope because, again, accessibility was a bigger barrier there too. I did few vocational courses at home because that time computers were totally new. I started learning Word, Excel, Tally, and many other programmings. I started looking out for few options like doing tuitions at home, but then of course I wouldn't enjoy that. I knew that. One day my dad visited a chartered accountant for his some office work. The moment he saw that his office is on the ground floor and there are no steps, he asked him, "Is it okay for you to hire Sunita? She has no qualification, but she has few vocational courses done in computers." Uncle said, "If she has willingness to learn, I'm okay to hire her." I started taking baby steps towards getting financially independent. Mind you, it was not easy for me because for 10 years I had a laid back life. I had no routine. I used to get up whenever I wished, eat whenever I wanted, have bath whenever I wanted. It was a very luxurious life, I should say. But I said that if I want to work and get independent, I will have to fight and be there. So I started working. I started having a disciplined life and things started moving. Back of the mind, I always thought about my dream. How do I achieve that? Luckily, I met few like-minded people and under the umbrella of Spastic Society of India, we formed a rights group called ADAPT, Able, Disable, All People Together. So we started working on accessibility. We used to read in newspapers, new mall is coming up. We read about the hospitals, hotels. We went and approached them. Some said yes, some said no, and life was moving ahead. We started training our peers to get into vocational trainings and qualified people. We had job fairs, workshops, and they started getting placed. And once they were placed, we realized commuting is a bigger issue for them. So we started working on disabled friendly buses. We read in newspapers about new buses coming to Mumbai city. We filed a PIL, and to our surprise, when it was our time of getting justice, when we reached High Court, the High Court was inaccessible. When we reached and met the judge, we asked him, "Why is there discrimination? Why is there no justice for persons with disability?" He immediately passed an order, and in a span of few months, High Court was disabled friendly. There was a ramp and an accessible toilet. Here is a photograph of the High Court. And this was inaugurated on 10th December 2003, World Human Rights Day. So we got a right, and it was a big win for the team. After that, we felt more confident. We started working towards our goal. And we started appearing in the newspapers. We were called for conferences. One day, we got an invitation from Delhi, and I am a travel lover. As a kid, also, we never missed an opportunity. Diwali vacations, Christmas vacations, summer vacations, we used to travel every time. So, when we went to Delhi, we planned a trip to Agra because when Sir Stephen Hawking visited India, he had shown his desire to see the seventh wonder of the world. So I said, if Stephen Hawking sir could go, even I can go. So the team planned a trip to Agra. To our site, when we reached Agra, it was very embarrassing because the ramps that were placed for Sir Stephen Hawking, half of them were removed. And two of our Russian friends, again wheelchair users, had accompanied us. It was a very embarrassing situation because now it was not only us, it was foreigners who could not access, and it was embarrassing. While coming back from Agra to Mumbai, we felt it is very important to work on accessible tourism because not only tourists from India but from abroad, there are millions of disabled travelers who would like to come to explore our beautiful country, and that would get so much of revenue for our country, and there would be employment also. So we started thinking and planning how do we work on accessible tourism. It was not a small thing to work on accessible tourism. But they say when you actually wish and you put it up in the universe helps you. So we four friends planned a trip. My four friends were Arvind, Nishan, Ninu, and myself. All wheelchair users with our drivers and caretakers planned a trip across India, traveling 28 state capitals, 40 cities. This was an entire road trip covering 19,000 kilometers. You must be wondering why this crazy trip? This crazy trip was with a mission and vision of making my city, my country accessible beyond barriers incredible India tour. It was 6 months to 8 months of vigorous planning because we didn't hire any travel agent. We did the entire road mapping by ourselves. The hotels, NGOs at whom we were going to meet, everything was planned. Even though it was planned, it was not an easy trip because every second day we had to do packing, unpacking. Few of the places were accessible, few of the places were totally inaccessible. And my this photograph of Khardungla on the highest motorable peak was during that journey. So that is why it is very close to my heart. I don't know how many of you all must have thought of doing such a crazy trip. So please try and do it. It is fun. And please explore our country. It is beautiful. While I was doing all the work on access, I got a chance to work and counsel few of my peers who had spine injury. Because in spine injury, there are major issues like pressure sores, urine infection, bed sores, and we need to time ourselves even for bladder and bowel. Even when I left from Mumbai to Pune, I had to plan when do I drink water? When do I not drink water? Will I find an accessible toilet? Will I not find an accessible toilet? This was our trip for Beyond Barriers Incredible India. So, when we started planning, doing things for Nina Foundation, we realized that it is very important to get into jobs, not only that, but also get it fit and do some cardios. So, how do we do these cardio exercises? So, we got involved in sports. When I'm talking about sports, I'm talking about being on a wheelchair and doing all the sports. So we encouraged our friends for archery, badminton, table tennis, basketball. We have organized basketball camps also. I chose badminton because I was very passionate from my childhood. And in school also, I used to play badminton. After playing badminton for school, I thought it would be easy. But no, it was not. Playing badminton on a sports wheelchair, balancing yourself, serving was very difficult. And a bigger challenge was again no accessible courts. The courts which were accessible, they denied permission because they said that your sports wheelchair will spoil our courts. There was one accessible court and they allowed us to play. And after playing every Sunday, we decided to get into tournaments. And that is where I won the medals. I will show you all a video later about how we play badminton. But before that, I would like to ask you, I would like to tell you what do I mean when I say access? I mean wider doors, accessible toilets, ramps and railings, and the list continues. When I say access and I say accessible toilets, how do the accessible toilets look? They look similar to any other toilet. Only thing is that we need enough maneuvering space, a space wherein we can park our wheelchairs, get onto the commode, and transfer back. There should be grab bars. But what happens when an architect designs an toilet without having an information of what are the requirements? So even when we go to accessible toilets, we face a lot of issues. The doors are wide enough, but then they do not close once we are in the bathroom because the maneuvering space is less. There is always a skirting below the wash basins, so the wheelchair can't get in. So it's very difficult for us, even if you have to wash our hands or wash our face. The mirror. The mirror is always placed at a height. Boss, it is for vanity and for uses like when if I want to wear my lenses. And why would I not like to look at the mirror and look beautiful? I think it is right of every person to see the beautiful themselves. Not only that, when I say access, I also mean technology. Today, when I had to operate this piece, I was a little scared because when I was trying on my laptop and playing a video, it was difficult. And I was thinking, what if I can't do? What if I can't hold the pin properly? Because we have poor hand functions. So, everything that has to be designed when it comes to technology, there has to be a little things that have to be designed and it has to be an inclusive society. So, Ritika Sahani, founder of Trineni, works on having inclusive society. And how do we do that? We have events in which we include each and every person, whether it is disability, whether it is senior citizens, whether it is transgenders, because finally we are a part of inclusive society. And when it comes to designing, I feel that each and every segment which designs things, it should be from the grassroots level. If the root is strong, everything flourishes. So, there should be inclusive schools, inclusive workplaces, inclusive designing. Today, if I go to buy a piece of clothing, is it adaptive? Do the fashion designers know what do I need? What are my requirements? No, because it is not there in the curriculum. If everything is there in the curriculum and if it is planned, we can be part of the society and we will be seen everywhere. Whenever we go to government officials and we ask them for the facilities, they say, how many people of you will use this facility? Because our census says only 2.1% of the people are disabled. But this figure is not appropriate because it is not only the disabled, it is the senior citizens, pregnant lady, temporary injured who will all use the same facilities. And I feel together we can really create a better world and an inclusive world. And when I showed you my life graph, I just showed what all went good and I kept scaling high and higher. But during this scaling higher and higher, there were multiple surgeries that I went through. There was many a times that I had pressure sores, I had urine infection. But why would I like to talk to you about that? I would like to talk to you about the praiseworthy things that I have done and tried to change things in the society. So tomorrow, when you step out in the world, and tomorrow when you go out, please think of facilities that you can create for persons with disability because it is all in the mind. We do not want any sympathy, we want empathy, and same goes for each one of you. You may face challenges in life, but keep looking at the scale wherein it is taking you higher and not at the issues which will pull you down for a moment. But then again, your willpower and your strength can take you higher and higher. So please keep scaling higher. Thank you. Can I have those videos, please? These videos will show how designing can help us. This is the bus that came up after the High Court judgment. Herein you can see my friend Ninu, she's getting in the bus with a foldable ramp. And there are straps which are attached where I am sitting. This is a foldable ramp. And we had training workshops for all the drivers and conductors so that they know how to operate and the etiquettes that are there for. This is a little tanned me. This is Umoja Beach Wheelchair Fest, which was in 2017. You can see me right in the waves. This is a beach wheelchair that was designed. We had a wooden ramp which took us right up to the beach, and herein I'm right in the waves. So if these facilities are there, well, your have water sports, even we can be there. This is how we play badminton. Of course, it's not me, it's my two friends. And these are international level players. Thank you, friends.